Peace, family. This is your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School. Every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel, we hold Night School, where we break down the most controversial topics, the most interesting subjects, the most engaging debates going on in the world today. And tonight's absolutely no different. We're coming to you the next morning. I wish I had a good reason for you, except that it's Black History Month and things be moving in flux. A lot of stuff going on, man. But I am so excited, so proud to be here with you all. And this month, brother, we're going to have some Black History Month talk. I have some experts coming on who are going to help us break down some interesting stuff. That's all I'm going to tell you, man. But I'm very excited to be here. We're not going to be here for a long time, but we will be here for a good time. We're going to break down as much stuff as possible. Also, I hope y'all see the new digs, man. Y'all see the new intro. Y'all see the new layout, man. We're trying to do something a little bit different. A lot of changes going on around the network, the Marc Lamont Hill network. We're going to see it on YouTube. You're going to see it over on Patreon. You're going to see it everywhere, man. It's pretty cool, man. I'm pretty excited about it. Yes, Fugazi's at 5 in the morning. Well, it's 6 in the morning over here, so it's even later. But look, we doing what we do. We're making the best of what we have, and more importantly, we're covering some stuff that I think is a pretty big deal. Shaking the world, in fact, and I want to get right to it. The first thing that I want to talk to you all about is the Epstein files. The Epstein files, we've been hearing about it forever. Epstein files. I don't know if there's a bigger story in the last decade. I don't know if there's a bigger story in the last 20 years. I mean, it's such a big story that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And even though we don't talk about it enough, we are still affected by it. And now we're seeing that it's shaking up Congress, it's shaking up the British royal family. Even Elon Musk is being pulled into the storm. Let's start with Monday. So yesterday, Monday, Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, the top Democrat of the House Judiciary Committee, said he began reviewing unredacted Epstein documents at the Department of Justice. Lawmakers are being allowed to view the files on security computers, or secured computers, I should say. Not really secure. They're not like flashlight cops. These are computers that are secured, and they're at DOJ headquarters. There's no phones there. There's no staff that are allowed. You can write notes, but you can only write like handwritten notes. Now, this is all based on statements from the committee and the Justice Department. But the idea here is that you can look at this stuff, but it's very, 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 very carefully guarded. They're really trying to do everything they can to make sure that these unredacted Epstein documents get viewed in the right way. Now, Raskin said that he saw examples of what he called over redactions in earlier public releases. He also saw cases where victims' names were not properly protected. That was one of the controversies, one of the debates that was being had. The review covers about 3 million pages of material. 3 million pages. This is material that the Justice Department had already made public, but it made public in fully redacted form. Now, according to sources, I'll just say, Attorney General Pam Bondi is expected to testify about the files in front of the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. Now, Washington is shaken by this. There's absolutely no doubt about that. The fight over the victims' names, the fight over the over-redaction, like who are you covering up? Who are you hiding? Whose names are you concealing? All this stuff is part of the conversation. It's tough in some ways for members of Congress to be overseeing this process because we don't know who's involved and who's connected. And while I think it's more likely that members of the Senate would be connected than the members of the House of Representatives, you don't know who's connected to who and who owes who a favor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the Epstein files have shown us that in the United States, the most powerful people in the world, not the most highly decorated, not the people with the biggest title, but the real power. Some of whom may be decorated, some of whom may have fancy titles, but the most decorated and powerful people in the world are connected to this. I'm not saying they did anything illegal or wrong. I'm saying they're connected to this. And so it's nasty to have, the fox oversee the hen house. I'll just put it like that. But it's not just Washington. I want to be clear about that. It's not just happening in Washington. If we look in the United Kingdom, Kensington Palace said that the Prince and Princess of Wales are deeply concerned about the revelations connected to Epstein, and they've expressed their sincerest thoughts to the victims. They didn't say prayers, so I don't want to say prayers. Anyway, British media also report that documents touching on connections between Epstein and political figures helped trigger the resignation of a senior aide to the prime minister, but one who took responsibility for recommending Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the United States. Meanwhile, this is where it gets interesting to some of y'all. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the late Queen Elizabeth's third child, has lost the royal title of prince as authorities continue reviewing his past associations with Epstein, according to palace statements and UK press reports. Buckingham Palace has also said that King Charles will report any ongoing police inquiries. The royal family is not my cup of tea, or the story of the royal family. This isn't beef. I mean, all of it is colonizer bullshit, right? So I don't respect the crown any more than I respect the presidency, right? It's all bullshit. But what I mean is I don't think about it. I don't know a lot about it. But for those who know and care, for those who are obsessed with palace intrigue, this is some nasty work, yo. This is something else. You're being stripped of royal titles because of your connection. The royal family has covered up big things. The crown has covered up huge scandals, huge controversies, huge problems. So if they're facing something so bad that they're willing to strip Charles of his title, he's now Charles Mountbatten. He has to go back to his street name, his government name. You know what I'm saying? Or I guess in this case, his non-government name. That tells you that something is going on that's bigger than we could have ever imagined. And that's all I want to say. Not because I'm afraid to say more, because I don't know more. But when we find out, I'm going to tell it to you, because this is nasty work. Anyway, back in the United States, the files are fueling yet another debate. Anti-trafficking group World Without Exploitation released a public service announcement during the Super Bowl featuring survivors, calling on Attorney General Pam Bondi to release more documents. This is a big deal, right? To put the ad out on the Super Bowl, not just in terms of the money and the cost and the extravagance of the spectacle of it, but of the urgency of the moment. The fact that you need to make a Super Bowl ad to get the Attorney General to do this, that says a lot. Anyway, the ad notes that millions of pages are still not public and urges lawmakers and officials to reveal the full truth, which is certainly not what we've gotten. Anyway, that video spread across social media and drew reactions from lawmakers in both parties. People like Chuck Schumer, Representative Ro Khanna, Thomas Massie, they all shared it online. Good for them. Commentator Matt Walsh responded by questioning why survivors have not publicly named alleged abusers, suggesting that they could provide names to members of Congress. Elon Musk then replied on X, of all places, saying he would pay the legal defense costs for anyone who speaks the truth about Epstein and faces a lawsuit. I have thoughts on that. Let me just give me a second. Stay with me, y'all. The latest Justice Department document releases also included email exchanges between Elon Musk and Epstein from 2012. In one message, Musk asked about parties in the Caribbean. Musk has previously said he declined repeated invitations to visit Epstein's private island and has had limited correspondence with him. And he repeated that claim after the emails surfaced. Ooh. Elon Musk is a piece of humanity, a very fascinating, interesting, complicated, messy, and ultimately, in my opinion, disgusting piece of humanity. That said, I don't believe that he's connected to this Epstein stuff. As much as it would be convenient for his enemies to say so, and I am somebody who hates Elon Musk, and not in any kind of interpersonal way. I don't know dude, but I do know that the things he says and does are awful. But he doesn't seem connected to it. He seems committed to making everything transparent. He's willing to pay legal fees. He's been begging for files to get opened up. He's been trying to do everything he can to make this clear and plain. The question is why? Oh, I don't think that Elon Musk is that deeply invested in child endangerment as a mission. He has enough money to damn near end child trafficking if you put all his money and resources into it. I think he's an enemy of Donald Trump. And after he and Trump fell out, I think it's been very clear that he wants to put a spotlight on this stuff because I think he believes that Donald Trump or Donald Trump's cronies are connected. He wants to set this thing on fire. Elon Musk is a troublemaker. Elon Musk is a rabble rouser. Elon Musk is trying to create problems for people inside of his party or his crew. But the fact that he's willing to do so tells me that he's probably blameless on this. But he probably doesn't have anything to do with this. He's denied or rejected invitations to the island. Does that mean I don't want to read any more into that, to the fact that I don't think he's ever been. I don't think he's ever gone. And I think he's very clearly saying, I'm not going. I won't go. I didn't go anyway. Now, what kind of communications they had, I don't know. What they actually talked about, I can't say. Elon Musk could be the worst person in the world in other ways, but I don't think he's connected to this one. So I'm saying all that to say, not to kick for Elon Musk. Again, Elon Musk is an awful human being. I just don't think he did this particular thing. And the reason I keep saying that is because I think him not having done this particular thing, him not being connected to Epstein, means that people who are looking to expose the Epstein files, people are looking to completely tear this thing down, they got the richest man in the world as their ally. And I think that could be used. As much as I hate Elon Musk, there might be a way to make this make sense. There might be a way to make this make sense. So that's all I'm saying. All right, y'all, let's move to another story. But yes, channel ODH, this is live. You have hit the jackpot. What up, Jada King? It's good to see you, family. Son las 5 por la mañana en Nuevo León, Mexico. Sí, what's going on? Stories for the worms. Te veo. Let's see here. Is anyone else here we want to talk to? I'm working overnight. So happy you're on. I needed a place to chill and listen. I appreciate that, yo. I appreciate that. And even when we're on at the regular time, you can always hit the video. You can always go back and watch the old stuff. And of course, y'all can always hit me on what they call that thing. What do they call that thing? VOD. All the videos, all the stuff, everything that I say, you can go right into YouTube and look at it. Everything's cataloged. And if you don't want to do that, you can go over to Patreon where we got all kinds of awesome stuff. We'll talk about Patreon later, man. I don't want to keep y'all too long. I said I was going to be here for a good time, not a long time. We got a question coming in. Both parties had those files and cover up why. I'm glad I'm an independent voter, free thinker, too much madness. I agree with you, Cecilia Charles. This is not a partisan issue. This is absolutely not a partisan issue. There's just no way to think about this as the evil Republicans. Not when the Clintons are moving this way. Not when Noam Chomsky was tied up in this stuff. You know, maybe the most vocal leftist intellectual, you know, of his time. I mean, what are we talking about here? There's too many people on both sides of this to make this a partisan issue. Democrats, don't get too arrogant on this. Don't get cocky on this. Some of your sacred cows could be in there. Republicans, don't do the moral high ground either, because whatever the Clintons did, we could see your Clinton and Ray Joy. Who knows? Maybe a Trump, maybe not, but somebody. There's too many names in there. As Kismet said, a lot of people have a lot to lose. and it goes beyond the party. It goes beyond the party. I can't say that enough. It goes beyond the party. This is one of the biggest reminders, that Democrats and Republicans are two wings of the same bird. Democrats ain't looking for your liberation, and they're not tied to it, not at the highest levels. I'm not talking about everyday working people who just got the, they feel like they're stuck with binary choices and they choose what they choose. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the power brokers of the world or of the United States. The power brokers of the United States, they may be Republican and Democrat. They might fight the fight in public, but behind the scenes, they're hanging out, they're doing deals, they're getting rich together, and they're making sure that the most vulnerable in this country stay exactly where they are. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. It reminds me of when we used to watch professional wrestling, and they'd be in kayfabe. Sergeant Slaughter hated the Iron Sheik. They were like mortal enemies because of all the imperialist stuff, because of there's a million reasons why, right? All the narratives in the U.S. that were all about U.S. imperialism and what exceptionalism, etc. All the political stuff that they were doing, and so Hulk Hogan was the good guy, and Iron Sheik was the bad guy. Sergeant Slaughter was on Hulk Hogan's team, etc. But when they got caught in that car with all that coke, Sergeant Slaughter and Iron Sheik. Anyway, I'll just say behind the scenes, everybody was on the same side. And it made you go, oh, this ain't real. These wrestlers that are supposed to be enemies are actually friends in real life. They party together. They kick it together. Yes. Surprise, surprise. It's the same thing with these damn Epstein files. It's the same damn thing. Stories for the Worm said Democrats refuse to stop the two-tier labor system and document all workers. They're scared of a united workers movement, same as Republicans. That's right. Robin said politicians too busy getting rich to care about us. Absolutely. Absolutely. The parties fight on TV and then go to lunch afterwards. Exactly. These people are not our friends. It's simply that simple. All right. We have one more story I want to talk about. It's a nasty one. An NFL rookie is now facing serious prison time after police say he used an SUV to repeatedly strike a car driven by a WNBA player. Atlanta Falcons rookie James Pearce Jr. was arrested in Miami-Dade County on February 7th after investigators say that he rammed a vehicle driven by a WNBA star, Rickea Jackson, multiple times while he was attempting to drive away. That's according to a criminal complaint that was filed with the Miami-Dade Attorney's Office and also from reporting from Fox Sports. Pearce is facing multiple felony charges, including 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated stalking, fleeing and eluding officers, and aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer. He also faces a misdemeanor charge of resisting an officer without violence under Florida law. Authorities say that Pearce and Jackson previously dated for about 3 years after meeting while both were student athletes at the University of Tennessee. Court records indicate that a judge has now issued a no contact order requiring Pearce to stay away from Jackson. Pearce was booked into jail and later released after posting a $20,500 bond on February 8th. That's according to Miami-Dade jail records. His attorneys released a statement saying Pearce maintains his innocence and plans to fight the charges. Legal analysts note that under Florida law, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer are serious felonies. This law enforcement thing I got to find out about. Pearce could face a minimum of 5 years in prison if convicted on certain counts, with mandatory sentencing possible in the charge involving a law enforcement officer. Jackson, if you don't know, is playing Unrivaled right now. That's Unrivaled WNBA Summer League in Miami. Nasty story for lots of reasons. First of all, the attack on Rickea Jackson, the alleged attack on Rickea Jackson is disturbing. It's scary. It's disgusting. And sadly, it's too familiar. I've heard these kinds of stories too often when it comes to intimate partner violence in particular. So if it is true, I hope that accountability processes happen. I want to know. I'm interested in how we punish James Pearce. I want to hear that story of how the world's going to punish James Pearce, but I want to know from Rickea Jackson what she needs to be made whole. I want to know what happened. I want to know what she needs. I want to know why this happened. I'm very concerned for her and her well-being. I'm primarily concerned for her as the victim here and her well-being. There's another charge here. Assault on an officer and fleeing an officer and all these officer-based charges. It sounds like maybe the officer stood in the way or came to or tried to subdue him or tried to get his car to stop, and he just kept going. And they want to say that he tried to hit us with the car. I'm guessing that's the police charge. That one may go away with a good lawyer, but what he did to Rickea ain't going away. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is dealt with. I don't want to hear from the NFL, oh, it's a private matter. Oh, we're investigating. I don't want to hear that. I want to know what you're going to do. But one of my big beefs, my biggest beef with the NFL is just how awfully players are treated. But in this case, when it comes to the DV stuff, when it comes to other acts of harm that NFL players have been caught doing, whether it's drunk driving, other things, I feel like the NFL also doesn't hold its players accountable for the harm that they cause out in the world. So this is nasty. You know, I don't know what's going on in James Pearce's head, but he's an NFL rookie with dealing with the opportunity of a lifetime, and he makes this choice. I need to know what's going on in his head. I need to know why he did this. I need to know if he's even mentally stable. We hear so many. I don't want to assume everything is concussions. I can't assume that. But also when it comes to the NFL, I can't assume that it's not a concussion, that it's not some mental illness. Too many football players do this. And some of this is just the aggressiveness of football. Some of this is the concussion. Some of it is something else. I don't know what happened here. But I do know that what happened to Rickea Jackson allegedly is awful. And this needs to be dealt with. And I want to know what the NFL is going to do. And that's it. All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all for watching Night School. It's been so much fun the last few years. I'm glad to continue to do it with you. There's a pleasure you get from this kind of work in person or digitally. I love both of it. I'm glad to do it. It's that simple. It's that simple. But I want to thank y'all. I also want to encourage you all to go over to Patreon. We got this thing set up, family, on Patreon too. So not only do you get Night School here, but on Patreon you get After Class, where I do live Q&A. You get In This Thing Together, which is the latest. How do I describe it? It's a beautiful, fun, exciting podcast about life, love, community, and relationships that I do with my wife, Dr. Melissa. It's something that I'm proud to be a part of. We also have conversations where I sit down with the deepest, not even the deepest, just realist conversations and conversation partners. There's also office hours where I sit down with the most innovative, creative, and controversial minds. We got so much stuff over on the Marc Lamont Hill Network, which is on Patreon. Make sure you check it out. But Night School is always here. It's always going to be here. It's always going to be free. So you don't have to pay for knowledge, y'all. But if you want to be over on Patreon, where we got a whole lot of stuff going on, I would be proud. I'd be excited to have you over there on the family. Even if you don't want to pay for it, slide on over and sign up. You can join me for After Class, which is entirely free. After Class is totally free on Patreon. So sign up. Click that little QR code. That's now. Wait, hold up. You go figure this out. I'm gonna get my angles right so I can always get it right. I think I got it. Boom. Click that QR code right there, or go to patreon.com/Marc Lamont Hill official and let's do it. All right. I'll see y'all soon, family. Peace.